Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's final video. We're going to have a look at the weather for the next 10 to 14 days for today's final video. Day 10 will take us to the 31st of August and we'll be able to extend out beyond that with the extended GFS and GFS Ensembles. Maybe around a couple of weeks. We'll have a look at the CFS V2 at the end of the video for the next 4 weeks, and that will get us into the middle part of September. I'll get on that for you in a moment. Just to say that first video release out our 6 AM UK weather forecast, and we've also released a little video looking at Weather Bank Holiday Weekend, including various events and festivals. Please check out those 2 vids if you'd like to. Like, share, subscribe on all of today's videos and content. Thank you so much everybody for doing that. We're going to start off in the tropical Atlantic. Look at this, it's all happening. So goodness gracious me, where do we start with all this lot? Okay, let's begin with the orange X just here. That is disturbance 2 with a 40% chance of cyclone formation in the next 2 days and a 70% chance of cyclone formation in the next 7 days. We have also got this red X over here. That's disturbance 1 with an 80% chance of cyclone formation in the next 2 and 7 days. So with that one, they're saying showers and thunderstorms are showing signs of organisation in association with broad area of low pressure located over the central Gulf of Mexico. Environmental conditions appear conducive for development of the system, and a tropical depression or tropical storm is likely to form before it reaches western Gulf of Mexico coastline on Tuesday. Right, okay, so we've also got tropical storm Emily, giving maximum stable winds of 40 miles per hour. Clicking on Emily, we can see it's going to be going post-tropical imminently. So Emily is going to be dying a death soon. We've got Gert just here, giving maximum sustained winds of 40 miles per hour. Again, tropical storm Gert. This one is going to go post-tropical and die a death shortly too. And then we've got tropical storm Franklin, giving maximum sustained winds of 50 miles per hour. And clicking on Franklin and going here, we can see this is going to remain as a tropical storm and could become a hurricane by the end of the week. So it's going to go northwards in that direction, and somewhere to the south of Bermuda could become a hurricane by the time we get through to the end of the week and the weekend. Lots going on, and we shall keep you updated, of course, about all of these developments as we reach the peak time for the 2023 Atlantic tropical storm and hurricane season. Now, we've also, of course, got Hillary over in the Eastern Pacific. So Hillary has actually virtually gone now, but it's just still visible up here as a post-tropical cyclone. And Hillary will be disappearing soon over the western portion of the United States. So Hillary is currently over Nevada. Don't know whether that's in the desert, but Hillary is currently over Nevada and will kind of die a death over the next few hours as Hillary pushes northwards. But Hillary brought huge amounts of rainfall to large portions of California and even affected Los Angeles. My good friend Stevie messaged me on Facebook to show the flooding at the Dodger Stadium, I think it is, in LA. So, yeah, very inclement weather, courtesy of Hillary, for the western part of the United States. And did I read that's the first time that a hurricane has hit the west coast of America, you know, the Californian coast, for 78 years, something like that? I think I read that over the weekend. So it's all happening at the moment, and we'll keep you updated, of course. Right, coming back to home, central temperature is currently sitting at 16.9, which is 1.1 degree above 6.9 on the average. That's pretty short. Yesterday, 21st to 20th. That's about as high, probably, as it's going to get. I think that will gradually start ticking down over the next day or two. We'll see, it might pop up into the low 17s actually around Tuesday, Wednesday. But I think it will drop down into the 16s. I don't see this August beating June 17.0. I think June will be the highest of the 3 summer months for the CT. It should come in above July though, so somewhere between June and July, probably in the mid-16s maybe by month's end. These are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles. The next couple of weeks on London today, red line is the 30-year upper air temperature average for London. Starting up above average of the upper air temperature at the moment, they're going to be coming down though as we go into the final sort of 5-6 days of the month. That's why I'm thinking we will not be able to sustain the CT in the 17th, but we'll see how that works out, as we get to month's end. But we're definitely looking at relatively warm for the next 2, 3, 4 days, then coming down for the remainder of August, and then for the first week of September, just hovering quite close to average, really, precipitation-wise. Lots of dry weather to come. No, next few days, starting to turn more showery into bank holiday weekend, and possibly then turning unsettled the month's end and into the beginning of September. Temperature anomalies from the 21st, 29th of August, a little bit above average to south, near normal, further north. Precipitation anomalies from the 21st, 29th of August, large areas coming out slightly drier than normal. Latest Windflow Map from knowleschool.net shows that we've got an area of low pressure still to the west of Scotland and Ireland today. We're still drawing up wind from a southwesterly direction, so relatively warm air coming in with this area of low pressure out to west and high pressure to our south and east, of course. Okay, so let's start going through the chart data. This is our latest UK Met Euro run. Looking midnight on Thursday, a trough of low pressure dropping into the north. That trough stays with us into the bank holiday weekend, producing further showers, particularly perhaps for northern and eastern regions. And those are opening the doors to more of an Atlantic flow into next week. Might start bringing some outbreaks of rain in from the west. That gets us to Monday, 28th of August, bank holiday Monday. Icon again has this trough of low pressure dropping in from the north on Thursday into the weekend. Low pressure never far away, so expect showers, and with winds in from the northwesterly direction, probably quite cool as well. That gets us to midday next Monday with Icon, and we're still looking rather cool and showery up to that point. The GFS midnight run again showing the low pressure dropping in from the north on Thursday, with low pressure sitting around the country as a trough of low through the weekend, 26th, 27th, 28th of August, bank holiday, looking rather showery, winds coming in from the northwesterly direction, so often rather on the cool side with that one as well. As we head on into the middle of next week, then things start pushing in from off the Atlantic, actually. So coming to the closing days of August, we go to a westerly flow and low pressure. Looks like it's increasingly taking over, really, in the North Atlantic. So by the beginning of September, just beyond day 10, that's looking rather wet and windy, with this area of low pressure bringing some quite strong winds and outbreaks of rain in from off the Atlantic. Remains for remnants of a tropical storm and or hurricane moving into the North Atlantic as well. Generally cool, showery and quite unsettled up to the 6th of September with the GFS midnight run. GFS 6Z, again, showing that trough of low pressure dropping in from the north on Thursday. Low pressure just knocking around the country Friday into bank holiday weekend as well. Maybe turning a little bit dry later on bank holiday weekend, but I think we're still close to low pressure. Still a showery sort of influence, really, all the way through the long weekend. Then into next week, we find low pressure again, continue to come in from off the Atlantic, having further showery bursts up towards month's end, but a little bit different with a 6Z. In that, we start getting this ridge of high pressure start to push in from off the Atlantic. For the first day of September, we're under a ridge here. You remember, for the first day of September on the midnight run, it was wet and windy, so completely different from the two GFS runs. Reason being, the remains of this tropical storm and or hurricane here moving into the North Atlantic. And of course, that is always the uncertainty at this time of year. September, always very uncertain month. One of the worst months for model reliability. The reason being these areas of low pressure that are the remains of these tropical storms and hurricanes move into the North Atlantic. Exactly what they do, how they interact with jet stream, etc., 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 causes uncertainty. So in this case, the low is actually helping to build up this ridge into the west of Europe. But on the midnight run, the low pressure actually invigorated jet stream even more and just carried on with the unsettled weather. So on this GFS run, we actually go under high pressure as this low kind of steers the ridge into the west of Europe. So rather than an unsettled start September, as we had on the GFS Midnight Run, the GFS 6Z has an anticyclonic start to September, with high pressure entry in control, bringing plenty of dry and warm weather all the way up to 6th of September, which of course is as far as we go with this GFS run. So it's always interesting how these ex-tropical storms and hurricanes interact, with the overall weather system and the jet stream in the North Atlantic, and their effects can be either to build up a ridge and turn things drier and warmer, or sometimes to give very wet and windy weather. If you enjoyed the video, please like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much everybody for doing that. Drop a comment, let us know what you think about this all of our video. Don't forget to tell friends about GavsWeatherVids. Thank you so much everybody for doing that. Right, let's carry on. GM, again, with low pressure dropping in from the north through the end of the week, being showery conditions and quite cool northwesterly winds as well. Into the early part of next week, you find that low pressure comes meandering in from off the Atlantic, just generally keeping the unsettled, rather cool and showery thing going right way up to month M. And then the ECM WF once more with the low pressure dropping in from the north on Thursday. That's been showery conditions through Friday and on into the bank holiday weekend as well. Just looking generally rather mixed and showery. Low pressure always there or thereabouts in the North Atlantic, and in fact turning increasingly unsettled around days 8, 9, 10 with the ECM midnight run. These are the options on the table within the ECM Ensemble today for day 10. Looking again rather showery, especially for more northern and western regions. And as we go towards bank holiday weekend, the showers become more widespread actually for a time. On into next week, lower pressure starts coming in from the Atlantic, so the bands of rain start pushing from west to east across the country. Further wet weather taking us all the way up towards day 10, which of course is the final day of August today. These are the options on the table within the ECM Ensemble day 4. Day 10 gets us to the last day of month, 31st. 13 members of the ECM Ensembles with low pressure over to the east of the country, cool, showery conditions with that. 11 has us under an area of low pressure, obviously that's going to be very unsettled. 10 with low pressure away to the north and higher pressure out to the west-southwest. That brings the wind in from the west-northwest direction, rather cool and showery with that one as well. 8 with low pressure in North Atlantic and across the country to our south, so that looks quite unsettled. 5 has us under a ridge of high pressure though. High pressure over Scotland brings the wind in from more an easterly direction. That's the most settled option. And 4 with low pressure to our north and northeast, wind flow and jet stream on a northwest southeast alignment. That looking rather cool and showery. In 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. Big changes. This gets us to the 5th of September. 20 members of the ECM ensembles have a ridge building through the Western Europe from off the Atlantic. That'll be mostly dry, relatively warm. 16 with a Scandinavian high. And winds coming in from the east. That should be mostly dry, but not overly warm, but a lot of dry weather with that. And then 15 keeps a low pressure theme going and has us unsettled. So if you put the 20 here together with the 16 there, the ECM ensembles are favouring high pressure in some form or another to build quite strongly across much of northern and western Europe actually for the first week of September. So as I often say, or as I always say, September, early September anyway, is often an anticyclonic period. That first week, 10 days, often does have an influence of high pressure. So we shall see how that works out. CFS Weeklies finally, these are 500 millibar height and lines breaking down into week periods. The first week period takes from the 23rd, 27th of August. This next week we'll have a ridge of high pressure to our north and northwest, a trough setting up over top of the coast. So as we go to bank holiday weekend, things becoming cooler and more showery. That trough then deepens into week 2, 28th of August to the 3rd of September. Look at this under deep area of low pressure then across western parts of Europe. That looks unsettled. Week 3 is going to be the 4th to the 10th of September. Low pressure still in control in the ascendancy there. And then week 4 will be the 11th to the 17th of September, still with low pressure in control. So this is a very unsettled September and often quite cool, I think, as well, with the CFS on its weeklies today. can actually show the temperature acknowledged from the CFS. So week 1, 21st, 27th of August, coming out average is slightly above. Week 2, though, is a cooler than average week. It's 28th of August to the 3rd of September, with below average temperatures there. Week 3 is the 4th to the 10th of September, average is slightly below. And week 4 is the 11th to the 17th of September, and that one also looking relatively cool, to be honest. And precipitation-wise, so week 1, bit wetter than average for the far north, wise dry than average, but week 2 goes wetter than normal. It's the 28th of August to the 3rd of September, and comes out wetter than average. Week 3 is also wetter than average. It's the 4th to the 10th of September. And then week 4 is the 11th, 17th September, weakening signal, but still a little bit wetter than normal, especially up in the north. It looks quite a cool and unsettled September there being predicted by the CFS. But as we just saw, GFS 6 said, being forecast by CFS, I should say, but as I just saw, the GFS 6 said builds up high pressure. So, as ever, we've got to wait and see what happens and how it all works out as we go into next month. Right, we're done. If you've enjoyed the video, please can you like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. Drop a comment, let us know if you've got this all of our video. Don't get 10 friends about GavsWeatherVids. Thank you so much, everyone, for doing that. Tomorrow, we've got 6 AM UK weather forecast. We'll have the extended European outlook, and there'll be another 10 to 14 day or two. Please keep checking back to the channel for all of the content for this video, though. That's all for now, and thanks so much for watching. Bye for now.